Do it. All right. So our first review of the day is going to be for Cocaine Bear. Cocaine Bear is the movie directed by Elizabeth Banks. Elizabeth Banks, who also her previous directorial work includes Pitch Perfect 2 and Charlie's Angels. I never saw Pitch Perfect 2, but I did see Charlie's Angels. Not really a fan of Charlie's Angels myself, but yeah, wasn't really a big fan of that work. But here she is directing this Cocaine Bear, which stars Kerry Russell, the late great Ray Liotta, in one of his few final performances here before he passed away. And the movie does give a touching tribute. They say in loving memory to Ray Liotta. If you stay a little bit after the movie ends, they do say that. So yeah, shout out to him, legendary actor. And there's also a guy in this movie that a lot of people recognized. It's like good to see him kind of come up. I don't know if you're on TikTok a lot. There's a comedian who's in this, who kind of pops up in this. He plays one of the ambulance, the EMT workers there. So if you're on TikTok, you probably seen him.
Scott Sace.
Yeah, he does a lot of funny.
Scott Sace. I was so happy to see him on the come up. He know a couple of people that have seen him do stand up live. He's been very funny, and he's really blown up on TikTok. He's like one of those. What do I need to do? You don't.
Yeah. Like here's some of his video.
I think he blew up from the retail workers. Like, wow, you just lost another customer. Good. Go.
Yeah. Like here's some of his video right here. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen here. Because he does good work. So it's kind of funny seeing like a guy like that kind of make it and everything like that. Like that's kind of cool, to see somebody like that. So that was kind of pretty cool to see him kind of come up and everything like that. So let me see if I can pull up a little clip to give reference.
You just lost yourself a customer. You think I own this business? You think I own IKEA? I'm a part-time employee halfway through a 2-week notice. I don't give a shit. I'm telling all my friends not to shop here. Tell them. You think I want 5 other yous running around the store? Have them call me, I'll tell them. You think you hate this place more than me? I work here.
Yeah, that's, definitely speaking for a lot of people. If you've ever worked in retail in your life, yeah, definitely speaking for a lot of people there. If you ever worked in retail.
I used to cashier at Publix on like the day before Thanksgiving. I know that hell.
Yeah. So that was kind of pretty awesome. Also, it's cool that you kind of have like the Americans kind of reunion in here. I was a big fan of that show. And I love it. So you have Kerry Russell, you got Margot Martindale, legendary character actor, and you also have Matthew Reese.
Hey. Whoa. Put some respect on her name. It's esteemed character actress and fugitive from the law, Margot Martindale.
Yes, who made a great appearance in BoJack Horseman. She made a great kind of cameo there, and that guest appearance on that show. So that was kind of pretty awesome there. So yeah, that was kind of cool to see. Also, kind of a nice like the Americans type reunion. So this movie, as I say, quote unquote, based on a true story. So the true elements are there was a bunch of cocaine that did fall out of the sky because there was a drug smuggler there. Who was trying to deliver it.
So the real story, in 1985, a drug smuggler named Andrew C. Thornton II dumped almost 4 tons of cocaine into the forest in around northern Georgia. And there was about 40 open plastic containers of it, and some of which they still think is around that area to this day. And this bear ingested a duffel bag full of it. Now, in reality, the bear died a couple hours later of heart failure, as most people would do having consumed that much cocaine. But I think when the story is being told, people forget this is Hollywood, baby. We don't give a fuck about reality.
Yeah. And like when they examined the bear like had the stomach was exploding. It was like filled to the brim. With the cocaine there. So because bears are, gluttonous animals. They keep just eating and eating and eating, everything like that. Yeah, so the bear, yeah, like I said, eventually just died a few hours later, But of course, you got to make a story out of it. And here you have to come up with a reason for these human characters, for human characters to be there around the bear in order for them to converge onto the bear and kind of run towards the danger. In Carrie Russell's situation, she's there because she's looking for her daughter, who went to the park. You have the drug dealers there, and Ray Liotta and O'Shea Jackson Jr. and Alden Ehrenreich, who are trying to find the cocaine. You also have the park ranger in Margot Martindale and the environmentalist who's with her helping Carrie Russell's character, and you also have a detective who is on the trail of the drug dealers, played by Isaiah Whitlock Jr. People probably know from The Wire. He had a big role in that, and he's been on various kind of other things as well, like Grand Rapids, which was the movie with Ed Helms. So yeah. So you kind of have that here. So that's kind of the reason why all these people kind of show up and are on the park there. And of course, you got to have people who the bear can kill and be victims of, which you got to give something for the bear to kind of do there. And this is basically, if you see the trailer for this movie, and you look at it and you go like, well, this shit looks dumb. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the point of it. I mean, you can kind of guess, you can kind of, you can tell this movie's for you.
Did you walk into a movie titled Cocaine Bear and expect Citizen Kane? Nah, motherfucker. It's a bear. It does cocaine. It kills people. What more do you want?
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, you could basically tell from the trailer, what the type of movie it's probably going to be, and what to expect. And it kind of delivers on that aspect of what it is, being a creature feature, monster type movie with this bear. And the bear, this is a smaller budget movie. It doesn't look that good. I mean, you clearly, it doesn't, it's not the best looking bear in the world. I mean, it looks better than Kang. I mean, it looks better than MODOK from Ant-Man, but hey,
the bear, the production budget, at least according to Wikipedia, was estimated between 30 to 35 million, with most of that going to Weta effects to create the bear for the CGI.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, if you can get past that a little bit, I mean, again, it kind of works that this is a comedy type film anyway, so really the effects doesn't really matter too much. And yeah, so that concept to just enjoy it, of like this kind of goofiness of it, it's gonna work for some and maybe not work for others. Depends on your sense of humor and your sensibilities there. I did find it very good. I think it also didn't overstay its welcome. It comes in at a nice crisp, hour and 35 minutes, so it kind of gets in, gets out. And there's a lot of good kind of gory moments in here too. And there's a scene you can see in the trailer, like the ambulance scene. That's, to me, is the best scene in the whole movie, I think, which includes the actor we were talking about, the comedian from TikTok, which he has shout out to him. He's also got the best scene in the movie, I think. So that's great for him. So yeah, I mean, it does a lot of that. You got some good kills, you get some good laughs. If that's what you're looking for, I think this does it for you. Dusk, what was kind of some of your thoughts on Cocaine Bear there?
Well, the title doesn't lie. It comes in swinging. It briefly brings up the idea of, oh yeah, this is kind of based on a true incident. But right from the very beginning, the movie sets its tone right immediately, not taking itself that seriously, being fun and playful with itself, and just also being kind of gory. So right from the beginning, if you're in for the tone, they're setting you up, and you're going to be ready for the rest of the journey. What I didn't expect was there were generally characters I kind of liked, even though we had very little screen time. I kind of liked some of the characters here, even with the ones that get killed off. I mean, I liked the effects. Yeah, it's cheap. The bear does look pretty wonky, but they never even try to establish that the bear at all has any form of realism. If anything, they try to establish that this bear becomes something else when it's on this cocaine. It's literally become a monster. And I was all with it. The sense of humor is very black comedy, very much dark humor, and it's consistent all throughout the movie. I thought the acting overall for everybody was solid. I liked everybody's performance. Like the kids actually did a good job portraying characters that I felt, okay, yeah, around that age. They even make fun of the 80s cocaine scares. The using even some actual ads that used to run
Oh
as
yeah,
an example.
yeah. I think the film opens with that whole cracking an egg in a pan is like, this is your brain, and this is your brain on
Yep.
drugs.
Pee Wee taking this is crack. Uh, taking cocaine is like putting a gun in your mouth and then pulling the trigger, and you're like, all right. And yeah, I thought everybody did the job. But I really liked the of the dynamics of everybody. I appreciated the relationship between O'Shea Jackson and who's the actor who plays his
Alden Ehrenreich.
sad buddy? Yeah,
Oh,
right.
Alden Ehrenreich.
Alden
Who,
Ehrenreich.
yeah, some people remember from Han Solo.
Right. Well, he's really good in this. I actually really liked his character as just this really sad, depressed guy who's lost something in his life, and he just walks around as if he just doesn't want to be there, doesn't want to deal with this situation, but he kind of has to because, well, he has a family business to contribute to, whether he likes it or not.
Yeah.
And their banter back and forth was very funny.
Yeah. And O'Shea Jackson, stuff that happens to him throughout this movie also is very good. They have a good dynamic, kind of back and forth, and the way they treat the bear, kind of like the bear's like a slasher movie type villain almost. The way he's kind of sneaking around and coming behind people.
I half expected to like cut, and then the bear is wearing a fucking Michael Myers mask in some scenes.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm like, how is a bear gonna sneak up on you? I mean, there's no way a bear is gonna sneak up on you, but they kind of play with that a little bit.
It is laser focused on finding more cocaine.
Nick, what was some of your thoughts on Cocaine Bear there?
Okay, I like to be as hyperbolic as anybody else on the internet, and I was one of the people championing this film as, yo, this motherfucker is gonna save cinema right here. Is it as great as I thought it was gonna be? Well, yes and no. I think the film tells you exactly what kind of film you're in for just from the trailer, just from the opening scene where you get this kind of a lovely scene of these two hikers coming across the bear, and then shit gets real, and it's gory, but it's kind of played for laughs, similar to something that I commented on with Terrifier 2. And I think it's done with the right amount of sense of humor, where this movie, even though it does get very gory, a lot of these a lot of the characters are basically just lambs for the slaughter, are basically playing stereotypes. I thought every single one in the cast does a great enough job. And the two standouts, I think, are the two kids who are Christian Convery, who was on that Netflix show Sweet Tooth, and Brooklyn Prince as Dee Dee, who was in The Florida Project.
Okay.
And she plays Kerry Russell's daughter in this. I think those two are the absolute standouts. And when, which is in the trailer, when Christian Convery as Henry starts interacting with Kerry Russell, I think that's some of the best dynamic. I think that's some of the best stuff in the film. O'Shea Jackson Jr., I think he stands out really well, especially in his interaction with Alden Ehrenreich. And a third party, and there's a scene later in the film that's, I think, is in the trailer where the bear just lays on top of Alden Ehrenreich, and it's some of the funniest bits in the movie. The best scene, of course, is the one where it's in the trailer, and we mentioned before, with Scott Sace as and Kyun Kim as two paramedics. And it's the one where the bear is chasing the ambulance. And the CG does get a little, feels a little off, but I think the movie is played for such laughs that it ends up working in the movie's favor. Because if all the effects were super realistic, then we as an audience would be asked to take this movie seriously, and it really isn't.
Yeah, it's not trying to take itself seriously. Everybody's playing into it. It's not hammy in that way. Like, there's nobody mugging to the camera or anything like that. I think all the actors in it, even though they're in this kind of crazy brisk. This
is something that I think works when you're making a film like this, and something that we talked about with both with Violent Night and I think with Weird, the Al Yankovic film, is that even if the subject matter is kind of insane, every single actor and director and everyone behind the camera, they are playing it straight. They are taking it seriously, even if the subject isn't.
Yeah. So I think that's very good that the actors do a good job in doing that. Also, as far as some downsides, yeah, the effects of with the bear. Also, I would say, some of the kind of the motivations, some of the human characters, maybe don't make 100% sense. Like you get Kerry Russell's character, you get her trying to look for her daughter. The stuff with the drug dealers, like you get them, but then when it comes to Ray Liotta's character, like him saying like I gotta find every single last ounce. So I was like, bro, that's gone, man.
He is comically evil in this movie. He is comically slimy.
Yeah. I'm like,
but it's comically slimy in a way that only Ray Liotta knows how to play, and he is so great in this third act. Is the closest thing this movie has to an actual antagonist besides the bear.
Yeah. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff there. With some of that, with Ray Liotta's character, some of the motivations, a little weird there, but don't quite hold up all 100%. But yeah, I mean, like I said, you need all these people to converge in this park, and collide with the bear, and it to be in close proximity to it in order for the bear to do what the bear does, to some of these people. So I mean, like I said, it's really, I mean, it's what you kind of expect it to be, with looking at the title, looking at the trailer. So it depends on if you're up for that or not. People were having a good time in the theater I was in. There was a dude who came in a bear mask. He was having what I mean? He was enjoying himself. So, for me, I would give this a tune in for me. For me. Dusk, what about you?
Before I give it a rating, I do want to compliment the soundtrack. I want to compliment the soundtrack. I thought they helped establish a really good tone. A lot of it is current synth wave, which if you haven't listened to it, is kind of a advanced synth type of music properly utilized in the 80s that has then gone through now different computerizations and different synth equipment. And I thought it set a good tone. Go ahead.
Yeah, and the score is done by Mark Mothersbaugh, who was the lead singer and keyboardist for Devo. And he also did the score for Thor Ragnarok. He did Mitchell's versus the Machines. He also worked with Elizabeth Banks before on the Pitch Perfect movie.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Especially if you know about the band of Devo, who also kind of helped popularize that kind of synth style in pop music at that time, or just synth style in general. Overall, I thought the soundtrack was good. Everybody was playing their part, and just like Violent Night, which even though the material was crazy, they took it straight, which made it funny. There's a lot of missed jokes in here that are really quick. A lot that I didn't even notice. I don't know if you noticed a few of them.
Yeah,
one of my favorites is go ahead.
Yeah, it very much has that kind of Lord and Miller joke 100 jokes a minute kind of writing to it, which is no surprise considering they're executive producers on this.
And it really, I think that really did help the pacing. Is there was never a moment that there wasn't some kind of joke, or at least a subtle joke going by so fast that actually in the audience I was with, I would laugh at some and then others would laugh like a couple seconds later if they got it or not. One of my favorites was I don't think we talked about the actress who played the park ranger.
Yeah,
she's going. She says a line along of guy comes in and goes, "Oh, your beaver's dusty." Yeah, I'm trying to work on that.
Esteemed character actress Margot Martindale, who can make a line as silly as "You've gone smell blind, son," and play it with all of the sincerity of Shakespeare.
Exactly. It's just, but yeah, I thought the editing so far was good. It was pretty good. Everything felt put together. The only scene in which I felt that there was I don't know if you guys noticed, but there was this weird moment where there's an editing moment where they flash back to a previous moment. What about? And I'm like, what? And it felt like, did they forget to put the scene in? They're like, oh, last minute. We need to put this in because they found it was just like, oh, that's weird.
that was kind of a weird.
Done that before.
It's almost like the editor was on cocaine and he wanted to reflect that in the film.
Yeah, but that did feel a little weird. That did take me out of the movie for a second. Like, you could have just shown that scene and had it naturally continue on, and they still mention it, and the audience knows what happened.
Mhm.
Because nothing else like that happened in the rest of the movie. But besides that moment, that was a very much singular outlier, which is why it made me think of it.
Mhm.
But overall, I had a good time with this movie. Is it going to save cinema? No, probably not. But it did make it one heck of an enjoyable night, and I do think that if I got some friends together, I would definitely be happy to see it again, like Violent Night did. Maybe grab a couple beers, relax, and have a good time. So for that reason, above all else, and just having a good time with a movie that was done well enough and had good character acting in through it, I have to give it a tune in.
Okay. Nick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I want to go back to something you said, Dusk, about get a couple friends, have a couple beers, watch this, and it's a grand old time. The theater I saw it in, it might as well have been a club because everybody was drinking, everyone was hyped up, hooping and hollering, cheering like it was a fucking football game. And it was awesome as a theater experience. It's one of the most fun times I've had at a movie theater in a very long time. And I'm kind of fortunate that I got a screening of like that. The film, it is both hilariously funny at points, and speaking with that comedy style of so rapid fire joke that I'm missing jokes because I'm laughing so much from the previous one. And then the film also is really gory, but it's all played for laughs, which makes this film work so well. This is probably Elizabeth Banks' best directed film as far as her feature efforts go. The entire cast, I think, is playing it with such a straight face that it ends up making the movie funnier. And of course, that bear is hilarious, and I was so happy every time I saw that bear wilding out. It's hilarious to see, but also terrifying whenever it's like shown in close up, and it's whenever it's around another character. Just for how much fucking fun this movie is, it is a goddamn blast of a tune in.
Mhm. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. I was a little disappointed though, a little bit. Isaiah Whitlock Jr. from The Wire. He didn't say classic line. He didn't say it. You know. He's-
Wait, I forgot he didn't. Okay, skip it.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
We all wanted
And
it.
I was
and that's what he
I
did.
was waiting for it too.
Yeah, we all wanted it, and that's not. He didn't give it. It just that wasn't the time and place for it. But if there was ever a movie for him to drop that line, it would have been this one.
Yeah. I mean, he does say
It's probably a
shit.
deleted scene.
Yeah, he does say shit, but he doesn't say it
favorite
like all the
moment.
way like he does. Like he's famous for kind of doing that. It's like Sam Jackson with motherfucker. Like that's like kind of like his thing. That's like what he does there. You know what I mean? And it didn't do that.
I like
But,
how he's supposed to be the straight laced cop, and even he's like, let's see what kind of effect that has on the bear.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff with him in the movie, I guess, I mean, it was kind of fun. The stuff with the dog and things like that. He's kind of like he got a dog in the movie. I mean, it seems to feel like that kind of felt like padding a little bit, but it was still, I thought it was still kind of.
It
Yeah,
really
if I-
seems a consistent joke.
If I had any criticism, it's that joke. It's that one running gag that I don't think really has any kind of payoff, except in one of the film's post-credit scenes, which I think is fairly funny.
That's actually one thing I did want to mention. With his character, there is a twist that happens with that character in that I don't feel like another character. It felt like there was one more epilogue scene to wrap the cop line up and finish that storyline arc that I think they didn't do. That I was waiting for in the after credits because they pretty much tie up every loose end by the end of that movie, except for that one moment. I'm like, oh, we're just gonna leave that hanging. That other character's just gonna get away with that. Okay, I guess that's all right.
Yeah.
There's no, you know what I mean? I don't want to go into spoilers, but
Right.
there was that, just tying that up. I felt like if I had a complaint, if any complaint really to have, it's probably the dog thing, and then tying back into that. I'm like, oh, we're not gonna wrap that up. Okay,
Okay. Yeah, I see
it's
your
probably a
point.
deleted scene though. If we're probably gonna be honest.
Yeah, I see your point there. Yeah, so a lot of fun. Check it out. So 3 tune-ins for Cocaine Bear.